The forest was silent. Only the sound of the beast's heavy breathing filled the cold air. Its glowing red eyes locked on Evan. The monster's chest rose and fell like a giant machine. Thick, black smoke came from its mouth as it growled again. Evan's legs shook, but he didn't move back. The alien girl lay behind him, weak and bleeding. He couldn't leave her. The beast took another step forward, claws scraping the ground. The sound was sharp, like metal cutting stone. Evan held his stick tighter. It was just a broken branch, but right now, it was all he had. His heart beat fast. He could feel it in his throat. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but his feet refused. Something inside him said, "Stand your ground." The creature sniffed the air. Its long tongue flicked out, tasting blood, her blood. It lowered its head, ready to strike. Evan shouted and waved the stick. "Stay back." His voice trembled, but he made it loud. The beast blinked, confused for a moment, then roared so hard the trees shook. Birds burst out of the branches, flying into the dark sky. Evan swung the stick. It hit the creature's leg, but it did nothing. The wood cracked in his hands. The beast snarled, then struck with its claw. Evan jumped aside, but the sharp edge scraped across his arm. Pain burned like fire. He fell to the ground, holding his arm, gasping for air. The alien girl tried to crawl toward him. "No, don't fight," she cried, her voice weak and broken. Evan looked at her, and then at the monster coming closer. He pushed himself up, breathing hard. He had no weapon left. His flashlight was on the ground, flickering weakly. The light hit the beast's face, showing its rough skin, long teeth, and dripping saliva. The creature roared again and rushed forward. Evan rolled to the side. The beast's claw smashed into the tree where he had stood. The tree cracked and fell with a loud crash. He grabbed a sharp piece of the broken branch. His arm was bleeding, his clothes torn, but he didn't stop. He ran toward the monster and stabbed the sharp wood into its side. The creature howled, swinging its tail. The hit sent Evan flying into the mud. His ribs ached. The air left his lungs. For a moment, everything blurred. He looked up and saw the alien girl's hand glowing faintly blue. Her eyes were wide, full of tears. She was trying to use her energy, but she was too weak. The beast turned toward her. Its red eyes locked on her glowing hand. Evan's vision cleared. "No!" he shouted. He pushed himself up again, his body shaking. He picked up a stone and threw it at the monster's head. The rock hit. The beast turned, roaring furiously. Its eyes now focused on him again. Evan stood tall, even though his knees almost gave out. His mind screamed that he would die here, but his heart said something else. "She's hurt. Protect her." The creature lowered itself, ready to leap. Evan gripped the broken stick tighter. His breath came fast. His arm hurt so much he could barely move it. The beast jumped. Evan dived to the side, swinging upward with all his strength. The sharp stick tore across the monster's face, cutting its eye. The beast screamed in pain. Black smoke rose from the wound. Evan stumbled back, chest heaving. He had hurt it, just a little, but enough to make it angry. The alien girl shouted something in her language. The blue light around her hand grew brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. The beast roared again and raised its claws. Evan didn't move this time. He stood in front of the girl, arms open, ready to block the attack with his own body. The ground shook. The air filled with the sound of thunder. And then, a flash of blue light burst between them. The beast screamed, throwing its head back as energy rippled through the trees. Evan fell to his knees, eyes wide, as the alien girl's power surrounded them both. The forest went silent again. Smoke rose from the ground. The beast was still standing, but now it looked afraid. Evan's body trembled. He had no idea what just happened, but he wasn't finished yet. The boy wiped the blood from his face, looked up at the huge creature, and whispered, "This isn't over." The forest smelled of smoke and fear. Evan stood in the middle of the clearing, shaking. His hands were bleeding, his arm was torn, and his breath came in short gasps. The glowing blue light around him slowly faded, leaving only the darkness and the soft hum of the alien girl's weak energy. The beast stepped back, confused. Its red eyes blinked as it tried to understand what had happened. The strange blue light had burned its skin, leaving black marks on its chest. It growled, low and angry, shaking its head. Evan turned to look at the alien girl. She was lying on the ground again, her hand still glowing faintly. She looked weak. Too weak. Her voice came out in a whisper. I can't do it again. He knelt beside her. Hey, you did great, he said softly, trying to smile. Just stay here, I'll handle it. She looked at him with disbelief. You'll die, she said. Evan laughed weakly. Maybe, but I can't let it hurt you. The beast growled louder. Its claws dug into the ground as it crouched, ready to charge again. The ground shook with its weight. Evan stood up slowly. His legs felt like they could give out at any second, but he forced himself to stay upright. He picked up the broken stick again, even though his fingers were slipping with blood. He looked small compared to the beast, just a human boy standing against a nightmare. But in his eyes there was no fear anymore, only courage. The creature roared and lunged forward. Evan shouted too, not in fear, but in defiance. He ran straight toward it. The beast's claw slashed across his side, cutting deep, but Evan didn't stop. He stabbed the sharp wood into the creature's neck. The stick broke again, but it made the monster stumble back. Evan fell to his knees, coughing, clutching his side. Blood dripped from his wound, but he forced himself up again. The beast turned, furious, and swung its tail. It hit him hard, throwing him into a fallen tree. The air left his lungs, and for a second everything went black. He could hear the alien girl screaming his name, her voice full of fear. Evan opened his eyes, barely able to see. The world spun around him. The beast was coming again, step by step, its shadow covering him. He tried to move, but couldn't. His body refused to respond. His arm trembled as he reached for the ground, finding a small piece of sharp rock. That was all he had left. He looked at the alien girl, her eyes glowing with tears, her hands weakly trying to summon more energy. She looked so helpless, so scared. Something inside Evan burned brighter than pain. A voice in his heart said, "You can't stop now." He forced himself up once more. His body screamed in pain, but he ignored it. He took one shaky step forward, then another. The beast roared again, lifting its head high, its mouth opened wide, glowing red inside, ready to burn him alive. Evan didn't run. He stood right in front of it, holding the rock in his hand, his knees shaking. He whispered softly, "If someone has—" The forest was silent again for a moment. Smoke drifted between the trees. The air smelled of burnt leaves and blood. Evan lay on the cold ground, chest rising slowly. His clothes were torn, his arm wrapped in makeshift cloth, and his face was pale. The alien girl sat beside him, her small hands shaking. The blue light that had saved them both was gone now. She had no more strength left. Her breathing was slow, almost fading. But then, a low growl broke the silence. Evan's eyes opened. He looked around, panic spreading in his chest. No, it can't be. From behind the trees, the beast appeared again. It wasn't dead, not yet. Its body smoked and its face was burned where the energy had hit, but its rage was stronger than ever. The alien girl gasped. "It's still alive!" The monster roared louder than before, shaking the forest. It wanted revenge. Evan tried to move, but his body didn't listen. His muscles felt heavy, his side bleeding badly. He turned his head toward the alien girl. She looked terrified. He whispered, "You need to run." She shook her head weakly. "No. You'll die." Evan smiled, though his lips were trembling. "Then at least one of us has to live." The beast lowered its head, claws digging deep into the earth. It was ready to charge again. Evan pushed himself up with shaking arms. He couldn't even stand straight, but he refused to stay down. He looked around for a weapon, anything. His eyes fell on a broken piece of alien metal lying near the girl. Maybe it came from her armor. It glowed faintly blue. He grabbed it. The metal was warm, light, and strange, almost alive. The blue lines on its surface pulsed, reacting to his touch. The alien girl's eyes widened. "That belongs to my kind." Evan didn't understand, but he held it tightly anyway. The blue glow spread up his arm, wrapping around his hand. His heart beat faster, stronger. He felt a strange power fill his chest. Not pain, not fear, but something bright and alive. The beast roared again and charged forward, its claws cutting the air. Evan stepped forward too. This time he didn't back away. The metal shard in his hand began to hum. Blue sparks danced around it. As the beast came closer, Evan swung with all the strength left in his body. The shard slashed across the creature's neck and the blue energy exploded. A bright flash filled the forest. Trees bent from the shockwave. The beast screamed. A deep, terrible sound that echoed through the night. Its body stumbled, crashing through the ground, smashing into the rocks. Black smoke poured out from its wounds. Evan fell backward, the shard still glowing faintly in his hand. His ears rang. He could barely breathe. He looked up. The beast was still moving, but slowly, weakly. Its roars were now full of pain, not power. The alien girl crawled toward him, her eyes wide with shock. "You used our weapon, but you're human. How?" Evan gave a tired smile. "I just held it tight." The beast tried one last time to stand, but the blue light burned deeper into its body. With a final broken roar, it fell to the ground, lifeless. The forest went quiet again. The smell of smoke filled the air. Evan dropped the shard beside him, his vision blurred. "Is it over?" he whispered. The alien girl nodded, tears rolling down her silver cheeks. "Yes, you killed the beast." Evan looked at her. "We did." He smiled faintly before his eyes closed. The alien girl touched his face gently, whispering something in her language. A prayer, maybe. The soft blue light from her fingers moved over his skin, stopping the bleeding. In the distance, faint sounds echoed. Footsteps, voices, and the soft hum of alien engines. She looked up. Her people were coming. She glanced at Evan again and whispered, "Please live. Human boy." The trees began to glow with new lights, not from danger this time, but from arrival. The real story was about to begin. The air was still heavy with smoke when the sound came, a deep, low hum like thunder rolling across the forest. The alien girl looked up. Her silver eyes widened in fear and relief at the same time. "They're here," she whispered. From between the trees, lights appeared. Not the wild glow of the beast, but the calm, sharp beams of alien technology. Shadows moved within the light. Silhouettes. Tall, armored figures carrying strange, glowing weapons. Evan lay still on the ground, half-conscious. His chest rose and fell weakly. The alien girl crawled closer to him, trying to shield him with her body. Her strength was almost gone, but she wouldn't let them hurt him. Moments later, the soldiers appeared. Alien warriors in silver armor, helmets shining like mirrors. They surrounded the clearing quickly, pointing their weapons at the boy and the girl. "Hold your fire," a sharp, commanding voice said. From behind them stepped a tall woman. Her presence alone made the soldiers lower their weapons. Her armor was black and gold, covered in strange, glowing marks. Her eyes were deep violet, colder than the night itself. She was the chief. The girl bowed her head weakly. "Chief Lorana." The chief looked around the clearing. The fallen trees, the burned ground, and the huge dead beast lying in the mud. Her eyes narrowed. "What happened here?" One of the soldiers stepped forward. "We tracked the beast. It seems this human killed it." He pointed at Evan, lying motionless. The chief walked closer, her footsteps slow and heavy. She stopped beside the boy and looked down at him. Blood covered his face, and his hands were still gripping the alien shard, now dim and cold. Her voice was calm, but sharp. "A human? Alone? Impossible." The girl coughed weakly. "It's true, Chief. He saved me. He fought the beast when I couldn't." The soldiers whispered to each other. Some looked at the boy with surprise, others with disgust. The chief's face didn't change. "You expect me to believe this weak creature defeated a Zarn beast?" The alien girl forced herself to sit up. "He did, The alien ship floated above the forest like a silent moon. Its metallic body reflected the night sky, and soft blue lights glowed beneath it. The air hummed with quiet energy. Inside, everything was bright and smooth. Silver walls, glowing panels, strange symbols moving like water. Evan lay on a bed inside the medical room. His body was covered with bandages and small alien machines moved around him, healing his wounds. His face was pale, but his chest rose slowly. He was still alive. The alien girl sat beside him, her arm wrapped in clean cloth, her eyes fixed on his face. She hadn't left his side since they brought him here. The door opened. The chief walked in, her tall figure casting a long shadow on the floor. The soldiers outside stood at attention as she entered. The girl bowed slightly, but the chief raised her hand. "You need rest, soldier. Speak only what you must." The girl nodded. "Chief, his name is Evan. He saved my life." The chief stepped closer to the bed. She looked down at the human boy, his face calm even in sleep. There was something strange about it, something that didn't fit her idea of humans. "You're certain?" the chief asked quietly. "He didn't try to harm you? Didn't ask for anything?" "No," the girl said softly. "He didn't even know who I was. He just saw I was hurt. And he helped." The chief's eyes narrowed slightly. "That's not what humans do." The girl's voice grew stronger. "Maybe not all, but this one did. When the beast came, I told him to run. He stayed. He fought with nothing but a stick and his will." For a moment, silence filled the room. The hum of the machines was the only sound. The chief folded her arms, her expression unreadable. "You know our history with humans, don't you? They destroyed our colonies, stole our resources, treated us like animals." The girl looked down. "I know, but this one isn't like that." The chief turned her gaze back to Evan. "One act of mercy doesn't erase what his kind has done." The girl met her eyes. "Maybe not, but one act can show what they can be." Those words hung in the air. The chief didn't answer at first. She looked again at the beast's wounds displayed on the screen nearby. Deep cuts, mixed with blue energy burns. The weapon's energy pattern matched their technology. "How did he use our weapon?" the chief murmured. The girl's voice was calm. "It reacted to him, like it accepted him." The chief frowned, walking closer to the screen. "Impossible, our weapons reject human touch." "Maybe," the girl said softly. "It didn't see a human. It saw courage." The chief turned to her sharply, ready to argue, but then stopped. She remembered the sight of the dead beast, the smell of smoke and blood, the look of determination still frozen on the boy's face even after the battle ended. She sighed. "You're young and you speak with emotion, but—" She paused, looking again at Evan. "There's truth in your words." The girl smiled faintly. "He fought because he cared, not because he wanted to win." The chief stayed silent for a while, her gaze softening. "Our people have called humans weak, selfish, violent. Yet this boy, he fought when even our soldiers would have retreated." She looked at the machines healing him. "He should have died, yet he lived." The girl nodded. "Because he refused to stop." The chief finally turned away from the bed. Her voice was quieter now. "Perhaps I have been wrong about humans. Perhaps there's more to them than we believed." She looked back once more at Evan. "When he wakes, bring him to me. I want to hear his story, from his own voice." The girl smiled softly. "He will wake, Chief. I know he will." The chief nodded once, then walked out of the room. The door closed behind her with a soft hiss. The girl looked at Evan again. The machines hummed softly, the lights flickering across his face. She whispered gently, "Rest now, human boy. You changed more than you know." Outside the ship, the forest below glowed faintly under the alien lights. The night was calm, but the world was no longer the same. The sun was rising when Evan finally opened his eyes. For a moment, everything was blurry. Bright lights, soft sounds, the steady hum of the alien ship. His body ached, but he was alive. He tried to sit up, but his arm trembled. A gentle hand stopped him. The alien girl was there, smiling weakly. "You're safe now," she said softly. Evan blinked, his throat dry. "Where am I?" "On our ship," she said. "You saved me. The chief brought you here." He looked confused. "The chief?" Before she could answer, the door opened. The chief entered, tall, calm, and serious. Her armor was gone now, replaced by a long silver robe that shimmered in the light. Her presence filled the room. Evan froze, unsure if she was friend or enemy. The chief stopped beside his bed and studied him for a long moment. "You're awake," she said in a deep, even tone. "Yeah," he whispered. "Guess I'm hard to kill." A small smile almost touched her lips, but it vanished quickly. "You should be dead," she said simply. "No human should have survived that battle, yet you did." Evan tried to shrug. "I didn't think about dying. I just didn't want her to die alone." The chief's violet eyes softened slightly. "Why did you help her? She is not one of your kind." He looked at the alien girl, then back at the chief. "Does it matter?" he said quietly. "She was hurt. I had to do something." The chief folded her hands behind her back. "Most of your kind would not risk their life for one of us. Humans and our people have fought for years, you must know that." Evan nodded weakly. "I've heard the stories, but she didn't look like an enemy. She looked like someone who needed help." The room went silent. The chief's face showed no emotion, but her eyes carried a strange warmth. "You're either very brave," she said, "or very foolish." Evan gave a faint smile. "Maybe both." The alien girl laughed softly, the first real laugh since the attack. Even the chief's expression softened for a moment. Then the chief turned serious again. "You changed something today, human boy. When my soldiers saw what you did, they questioned what they believed about your kind. Even I began to wonder." Evan frowned. "Wonder what?" The chief looked out the window, where the first rays of dawn touched the trees below. "If perhaps peace is not impossible." Evan blinked, surprised. "Peace?" She nodded slowly. "You fought not as an enemy, but as a protector. That act speaks louder than any treaty. Maybe your kind and mine are not as different as we thought." Evan stared at her, unsure what to say. "I didn't mean to start anything big. I just wanted to save her." "And that," the chief said quietly, "is exactly how change begins." The alien girl looked at him, her silver eyes full of emotion. "You gave me my life, Evan, and maybe you gave us all a new beginning." The chief stepped forward, placing a metallic badge on the table beside his bed, marked with glowing alien symbols. "This is a warrior's emblem. It is given only to those who act with courage beyond reason. You have earned it." Evan stared at it, speechless. "I'm not a soldier." The chief's tone was firm but gentle. "You are now in spirit." She turned toward the door but stopped before leaving. "You will recover here. When you are ready, you may return to your world. But remember this day, human boy. The stars will remember you too." With that, she walked out, leaving silence behind her. Evan looked at the emblem, then at the alien girl. She smiled, tears in her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. "You made them see us differently." Evan smiled faintly. "Guess that's not bad for one day." Outside, the alien ship rose higher into the sky. The forest below glowed gold in the morning light. A new dawn had come, not just for one human and one alien, but for two worlds that finally saw hope. And somewhere in the stars, the chief's voice echoed in her command log. "A human boy fought not for power but for compassion. Let this be recorded, the day we met courage in its purest form."